I'm joined today by a special guest on Primetime Local News. Steve Hill is here. Steve is bringing his tour to our neck of the woods in both Saskatoon and Edmonton coming up here shortly. Steve, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, as I said, you are going to be doing a tour that's coming out this way. It's the Hanging on a String tour, which is named after the album of the same name. So let's start out by talking about the album. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it was recorded in January last year at Dave Grohl's Studio 606 in Los Angeles, and it's a one-man band record. I'm a one-man band. I'm known as a guitar player. I'm a singer, but I'm also a one-man band, and I did the whole thing like that, which means I play drums at the same time as I'm playing guitar. I modified my guitars. I have a drumstick on the guitar's headstock, and I'm standing on two pedals. I play the bass drum and the snare drum like that, and I also modified my guitar so that you hear bass when I'm playing. So the whole thing was recorded live in the studio, recorded in 5 days last year, and it came out November 1st. And so I'm touring the West Coast from March 5th or March 6th until the 17th, and I haven't been there in about a year and a half, and it'll be good to come back on the West Coast and the prairies.
So why the one-man band, Steve? Why don't you make it a little bit easier on yourself and get some other people to help out?
Well, just like anything good in my life, it came out of it's an accident, you know. Like I had about 6 albums out, and I signed a deal with a label that didn't do much, and I released an album that basically tanked. And I had just become a partner in the studio, so I had huge bills every month and not enough money coming in. So I gave a list of smaller clubs to my agent back in the day, and places where I used to play. You know, I told him book some solo shows. And at night, I used to live right on top of the studio. So, and the studio wasn't booked. You know, I thought the studio had clients, but they had no clients. But the good thing was that the studio was available. So I'd go down to the studio at night and I'd record stuff on my own. And these tracks ended up on an album called Solo Recordings Volume One, which came out in 2012. Got a Juno nomination, and it put me back on the map. You know, it sold more than the 6 albums I had done before, and I did over 150 shows with that album. And then I did Volume Two, and that Volume Two won the Juno 10 years ago, and it also won like 7 Maple Blues Awards. And then I did Volume Three, and I'm still doing it. I thought I'd do it for about a year, pay off the credit cards, but like 13 years later, and I'm still a one-man band, and I really enjoy it. It's hard work, but it pays off, you know.
So you are going to be out here, Steve, March 6th in Edmonton and March 7th in Saskatoon. So when people attend those shows, what can they expect?
Well, it's a you know I play blues rock. I've done bluesier stuff in the past. I've done this album is a rocking record, but the blues roots are still there. So there's a bit of blues, there's rock and roll, it's high energy, and it's a rocking show. Don't expect traditional blues. You know, that's not what I do. You know.
So after this tour, are we seeing another volume come out then, or have you thought that far ahead?
I'm always working on the next record. You know, basically you put out an album, and you know I have to start writing stuff. So I've been practicing for the tour for the past month in my studio, and I have like 4 or 5 different song ideas that I'll work on while I'm on tour. And I still have a bunch of shows in Quebec right until I'm playing Toronto on April 19th, and then I got some time off, so I'll start recording the next album and release some singles. You know, the album is like, the kids these days, they don't really listen to albums. You know, they nobody has the
Right.
attention span, and nobody has the time to listen to a whole album. So it's mostly songs. So I'm gonna release a bunch of songs over the next year, which will eventually be part of an album.
Well, Steve, it sounds exciting and your show sounds amazing. If people are looking for more information, either on tickets or just on you yourself and your music, what's the best place to find that?
SteveHillMusic.com.
All
And I'm
right.
on Facebook, YouTube, and all that stuff.
Everywhere, pretty much. Well,
Yep.
Steve, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. We can't wait to
Thank you,
see you when you
Stacy.
come out this way here. Just a few weeks and you'll be here. So once again, that's
Yes.
March 6th in Edmonton and March 7th in Saskatoon. Steve, a pleasure speaking with you and good luck with the tour.
Thank you so much.